Here we have the current stock market analysis for super microcomputer, stock ticker SMCI. Before we begin with today's chart analysis, if you find these educational materials to be helpful in your trading, please remember to click the like and subscribe buttons and leave your thoughts in the comment section below so that other traders will be able to find this information more easily on the platform. So here again, we have the 5-minute price chart, and there are some reasons I want to look at these shorter term time frames at the moment. For the most part, I do want to sort of build on the prior analysis that was made in the last video, and I do think that it's critical at this point to sort of look at these sort of near term price movements as being most influential because so much destruction has been done to the longer term chart activity. And there's been so many price gaps and excessive movements and things like that recently, based on a few different events. Some of them are not even directly related to super microcomputer. I mean, we're just seeing, some very extreme earnings reactions in stocks like Broadcom and NVIDIA, and I think that this is just adding to the selling pressure. So, at this point, I do think that it's best to kind of take a step back here and look at the minor, sort of more minute turning points here. So, what I have here is a 5-minute price chart. Every candle on this price chart represents a 5-minute trading period. And the real question at this point is whether or not the stock has actually found a bottom. Most recently, the low that we're seeing comes in at 382.88. So that would be the price low from September 8th. And then this near-term high, this trend wave here, sort of ends at 417.60, right around that region. We have seen some spike activity above here as well. So this is sort of a double top resistance zone at the moment. And we can be looking at this as the top of the most influential trend movement currently controlling share prices. So as things currently stand, we can see that the stock has managed to sort of find some support here and make some recent moves higher. What is important here, I think, is the fact that the share price itself did manage to find support right at the 50% retracement of this prior ascending trend move here. Maybe I should draw this a little bit differently so that it is clear that this is an ascending price move. So if we look at it more like this, we can see that, share prices did manage to find support 2 different times right at this 50% Fibonacci retracement. So this has now become a very critical level here to the downside. We should note this as well. This comes in just above the $400 mark, so roughly $400.80. So we can sort of put that in here as the main support zone here to the downside, at least from the short-term time frames. So, at the moment, this is really the line in the sand. If we do see a break below here, I would expect to see share prices start to accelerate to the downside. And at the very minimum, I think you'd be looking at a test of the 61.8% Fib retracement, which comes in right around 396.30. So as things currently stand, we are starting to break through some short-term resistance levels. Specifically, 411 is a very important level to watch because we did break through here relatively easily. So the next level to watch to the top side does come in right around this 417, 418 resistance level, which would now be considered to be a double top. So, it is interesting here that we did manage to find support right at this important retracement zone. Now, does this mean that we actually found a bottom here? It may still be a bit premature to start to make that assumption, but if we do see a break of this double top here, right around 417, 418, that should start to take some pressure off of the downside here, and then we're probably going to be looking at some upward trend momentum that does help share prices move higher. Overall, longer term, there are some real questions about where we're headed from here. Overall, the selling pressure in the broader market does seem to be abating a bit. So as things currently stand, I don't know if we can really expect to see significant movements to the downside near term. And the next level that I would be watching for this stock to the top side would come in right around 475.40. As we can see, this is also an area that would at least be considered to be a double top, possibly even a triple top area. Because we can sort of draw this out here and see that this is a fairly critical level as well. We've seen some minor breaks above this zone recently, but for the most part, this 475 area is a fairly critical level of resistance that should be a bit difficult to overcome, at least on first test. I'm not saying it can't happen, but if we start to approach there, I wouldn't really expect share prices to just blow through there. I would expect to see some resistance there first, and at least a bit of a downside pullback before we start to see any extreme breaks higher. And then from there, you have to start to look at the $500 psychological zone because that would be the next major line in the sand. If you start to see super micro break above the $500 mark, now we're looking at a situation where the financial news is probably going to start picking it up. Super micro had a great day today. We're above the $500 level. That becomes a news headline type of event. So, as things currently stand, we do need to drill in, I think, to these shorter term timeframes because the major question here is whether or not we have found a bottom for this stock. The way things are looking here, this is starting to look a bit more positive. I do think that we need to hold this level just above the $400 mark. If we see a break below there, you're at the minimum. You're really looking at a retest again of 395, and then the question becomes whether or not share prices are going to be able to gain any significant traction back above that 400 mark. So currently, we're trading right around 414. The next major level of resistance rests about $4 higher. The price close today will also be critical. If we close below 417, 418, that's a bit more of a bearish signal, which would be, important because what we're seeing here is a trend wave higher. This is a short-term chart, but there are reasons we're looking at the short-term charts here. If we just pull out to the longer-term timeframes, finding a true bottom or true evidence of a bottom becomes much more difficult to achieve. It's really kind of impossible. If you're looking at the weekly chart, for example, you're really not going to see these individual trend wave movements. So it might seem strange at this point to be looking at these short-term timeframes, but if we're really going to be able to identify, the upside bullish reversal point, this is going to be the type of analysis that needs to be done. So just to summarize here, the levels that I would be watching again are $400 on the downside. Break below there, we could see some sideways consolidation and a drift back below that 400 handle. If we do see a break above this 417, 418 level at the very, then you have to start to target this 475 area. But what you would ideally like to see from here would be a break above 418 and then a daily close above that level as well. So here's the current stock market update for Super Micro Computer Incorporated, stock ticker SMCI. Our high value trading strategies membership is currently available for a limited time for only $9.99 per month. These high conviction investment strategies are characterized by superior risk to reward metrics that target massive market beating returns over time. Join now to outperform the market. Lock in this special introductory rate of just $9.99 per month for the entire lifetime of your membership and start trading stocks with the pros.